Team 8 is in a neck-and-neck battle with Gravity. I'm here with Maplestreet to discuss this. Someone who Les Boy calls Asian Odd One, which is strange because you both have the same ethnicity, theoretically, so I don't know why he would say that. Either way, let's discuss this. So where do you see yourself ending up? What for you? What's the path ahead look like, and what will determine the playoff situation?
Yeah, we're trying to get into playoffs, obviously, and our final two games next week will be COG and Gravity, which is probably one of the hardest schedules of any team. We probably need to win the game against Gravity, or else they'll have a 2-0 lead on us in the tiebreaker, and that'll probably kick us out. Against COG, I just hope we win, because they're a really solid team.
Yeah. And do you think it's going to come down to the Gravity match?
Yeah, for sure. If we lose it, they got the 2-0 and the tiebreaker over us. So, they'll be up probably. Even if we beat COG and then lose the Gravity, we might get kicked out of playoffs just because they 2-0'd us during the season.
Right now, do you think that Gravity would take it, or you guys?
Well, it's between us, Gravity, and Liquid, of course. I'm not sure. Gravity runs Urgot and stuff, and they seem really solid, and it would be a close game. I didn't think we'd beat C9, but then we just beat C9.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because it seems as though, watching that game, it seemed as though I was like, oh, C9's got this, C9's got this. And you guys had this desperate Baron that really panned out for you. And then it seemed like C9 might have had it. Then you swung back, and then it swung back to C9, then it went to you. So what was it like in the game while you were playing that, across the game?
I was pretty mad at myself because I let Sneaky kind of get out of control, and they just started out pressuring the map really hard. And Sneaky, being sneaky, was out pushing a side lane alone. That's a strategy C9 does a lot. So they had a lot of pressure on all their turrets and whatnot, and they got a lot of objectives on us. But then they just couldn't close out the game. Dodo landed a bunch of fantastic hooks, which ultimately led to us winning.
There's been so much discussion lately about support staff and how much they contribute to a team's win. So what does your support staff look like right now?
We have the head coach, Matt Schmieder, and we have an assistant coach, Cheese Beluga, who is the twin brother of Porpoise Deluxe, Porpoise Pops. They're both really good. They have neutral views, and they don't really take sides. So we get a lot of discussion going, and we've been learning a lot throughout the whole season. We also have a bunch of analysts who work closely with our head coach and our assistant coach, and they help us from their houses and whatnot, and they are also pretty helpful too.
Yeah, there's so many teams have a bunch of analysts, right? All sort of working remotely. So how does that work for you guys? Do you ever interact with these guys, or is it literally the coach goes out, talks to all these guys, comes back in and is like, okay, here's what I got, and opens up a folder, and you guys breeze through it? How does the information get from the analysts to the team and the players?
Yeah, analysts just look at all the small things and just tell the coach certain plans we might consider doing, certain picks and whatnot. We won a few games off our analysts telling us that Winter Fox, our first game against Winter Fox, they ran a very vulnerable level 1, so we exploited that. And then we got a 20k gold lead at 20 minutes. It was insane. We got a level 1 kill, and then we invaded and killed them or something like that. It was just a huge snowball. They tell us small stuff like that, and they also try to figure out what picks the enemy wants and what's the best ban pick draft we can do. They worked pretty hard this week. For the C9 game, we actually were discussing the bans and picks yesterday for 2+ hours. It was a very long time of okay, do we give them one of these 6 picks? Yeah. And then we went back and forth for the longest time, and I was so bored, but it apparently paid off because we won.
Yeah. Do you think that it was a ban and pick situation that really helped you guys out in that game, or because it did seem like they were able to swing a huge advantage early on?
Yeah, we expected the Nautilus support, but I guess I played it kind of poorly. Our lanes were winning top and mid, so if I did much better in bottom, I guess we would have had a much stronger or more convincing victory. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think our bans and picks were pretty good. They couldn't itemize any defensive items against us very well.
So Maple, what what's it been like being back in the LCS since the first time? Because now you've been here for almost a whole split. You were here previously, a while, what, like a year or two ago? I forget.
Yeah, like 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years ago. So what has changed in this experience compared to the old one?
Well, I'm not sure. Every loss kind of like increased my motivation. I wanted to work harder and harder and I just really want to win. And my teammates also really want to win because they have a lot on the line. Like some of them have to go back to school. Some of them are getting old and like we're all at this point in our lives where we need to make something happen. So all of us like understand that and we all like want to win really badly and we're pretty friendly to each other and we understand that like we just want results.
Was that not the case last time?
Velocity was weird. I mean, we like slapped together a team like a few weeks before the promotional tournament, and we just happened to win against Marn. And from there, we didn't have a house for a little bit. It was just a weird mess of. We didn't have a good support staff there either, so a lot of things have improved since then. People still bring up velocity to this day. I'm not sure why. They're always like, "Lol, velocity sucks. Did you know that?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Wow, cool story." Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, can you tell me how bad velocity was again?
They did not. They did not have a very convincing run in the LCS, and then they got relegated. Or they didn't get relegated. They got kicked out for a bunch of Europeans.
Yes, kicked out for a bunch of Europeans. I'm sad, but poor Coast is going to get a lot of flack nowadays, and everyone's going to be like, Coast, remember how bad Coast was? Yeah, I do.
So are you kind of happy that Coast is having a hard time because now, like, it'll help. There'll be a new team to pick on.
No, not really. I mean, they've got like 5 players who are all like decent sometimes. I guess them 5 together don't mesh super well. But like I think individually they're all very skilled. I've seen them all in Challenger. Chris is like a top 10 challenger. Impaler's a challenger. Mash has hit top 10 before. Sheep has hit top 10 before. I don't even know why they're losing. It must be luck.
Luck, like bad luck.
Yeah, they just happen to get bad luck for the first 16, 15 games.
They don't even have the same roster that you just listed, right? Like some of them aren't even there.
Well, yeah, they're like subbing out players, so trying to stack their Challenger Series team so they get like into LCS. Some weird stuff like that. No comment.
No comment. No comment. Now, we talked a little bit about what it was like from a team difference, like comparing Team 8 to Velocity. But for you personally, what's the experience been like, in terms of differences between this time in LCS and last time? Because you certainly seem in higher spirits. I mean, obviously you guys are winning more, but
Yeah, that's a good point you brought up. I was pretty depressed and like whiny, I guess. And I wasn't a very good teammate. I would always be like really angry at myself and I would like start hitting my mouse because I was angry, but that like really made the atmosphere much worse and whatnot. This time around, yeah, I'm in higher spirits and I've had more experience living with people and like I lived with the team for the longest time. We had our own house in Challenger Series and whatnot, and we've just been together for a while and we mesh well.
there's a lot of insight that people get to see into Tip and Gravity and some of these guys because they're maybe a little bit more social or maybe they do social media stuff more. I don't know. But I don't feel like people get to see that as much with teammates. So, kind of in this interview, do you guys have is there a lot of friendship with you guys? Are you close to any of the guys on the team? What's the atmosphere like? Not just in terms of like, oh, it's not toxic, like we're all good friends, but like what are the dynamics like on the team?
We're all friends. Like we go out to eat together a lot. We go over replays together and like we have all these little memes in the house that we always joke about. Like Slushy would complain that the support ganked him level 1 mid in a scrim or something ridiculous. And then there would be other silly stuff where Callie just does like a crazy TP play. So we're all like used to each other's little antics and whatnot. And we tend to have a lot of fun with the game. And even though we had an awful week of scrims this week, like we just got obliterated in scrims, we somehow put it together. The power of friendship prevails.
So that's what it is. You've got the power of friendship.
Yeah, our scrim record was so bad. It was like less than 10%.
That's not good. But then you won.
Yeah, we do out. How does that even work?
This continues to seem as though scrims don't matter, right? Scrim results.
It's weird because I really want to believe scrim results matter, but clearly they don't.
Yeah.
And we're the greatest.
It's whatever happens on game day, right? Yeah. Anything you want to say to any of your fans out there, Maple Street? Maybe have your teammates throw some shoes at them or something?
Well, just thanks for all the fans that follow me and my team. And I hope we get a bigger and bigger fan base because we're here to win, and we're also like very fun people that are just really friendly with each other. We aren't going to have 8 roster swaps a year or something crazy like that. But yeah, thanks for following me and my long journey since Velocity, and thank you for interviewing me, Travis.
Thank you for being interviewed by me, Maple Street. Always a pleasure. I'm happy you're not throwing your shoes around. It's good. Yeah. Dear God. You can check out the rest of our coverage of all things LCS at ongamers.com.